G'day guys, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you're watching this. Finally got some sun. It's great to see. It's been just pouring down rain for weeks and weeks, flooding the joint. It's put me behind on everything I've had to do. But got a bit of an exciting video, something a bit different. I don't know if you guys are going to be into this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not trying to talk too loud because Mrs. is sleeping before night shift, so yeah. Alrighty, got the caravan covered up. We're going to go away in that in Easter, which is coming up soon. I don't know when you guys will see this video, it might be after. Got the old trusty patrol here that's been towing it. I haven't done many videos on this, didn't know if people would be interested in that, plus there's so many patrol videos and vloggers across YouTube doing patrols. I've had this thing for like 7 years. It's done me really well. Loved it, but driving it as a daily has been tough. And yeah, it consumes a lot of fuel, and I drive a big distance to work up and down a highway every day, wearing muddies out, flogging the suspension out, and yeah, and just using heaps of diesel. If anyone knows about these, it is a factory turbo 4.2. Has a good sound to it. It's nice, but the video is not about that car. As you see from the title, I got something new. This is what I got. This is a 2017 Nissan Navara. Very different car to the old Patrol down there, but I wasn't really looking. I wasn't in the market for anything just now, but happened to be that a mate was selling this, and I knew it was very well looked after, and pretty much offered me a good price on it that I couldn't say no to. So I went and looked at it. I liked it. It's a lot newer than the Patrol. That's a 2002. This is 2017. Has a little 2.3 diesel twin turbo, so it pushes some power still through those turbines. It drives nice. It's faster than the Patrol, picks up speed better. It's not as ridiculous, not really as attention drawing as the Patrol for defects, which I have been defected in that a couple times. So that's what I'm trying to get away from, and this is better on the highway. So yeah, I really like my my D-Maxes and Hiluxes, so if I was going to buy one, I would probably go buy one of them, but the Navara came up, like I said, at a good price. The main thing I love about the Navara is that it's actually coil rear. It's not leaf sprung. Even though leafs are really good for carrying weight, I'm not planning to carry weight all the time. I'm just going to be using it as a daily. It will tow the caravan, but he's upgraded all suspension with a 2-inch lift and stiffer springs, so it'll tow the caravan fine. And yeah, it's just a nice comfy ride and puts it closer to what my Patrol was. So they're similar in that way. So yeah, I can start doing videos on this if people are interested. Let me know what you think. I'll obviously title it different, and if you don't want to watch the Nissan Navara stuff, you don't have to. But I've got some mods to do to this today, typical 4B stuff. But other than that, the car's fairly stock. Light bar, towing mirrors, which are ridiculously big and cause blind spots. It's got a snorkel. The tray on it's custom. My mate built that from scratch. Did a really good job of it. And he's just upgraded a lot of piping in the engine bay with better sealing and stuff so it doesn't leak. Inside's nice. Probably needs a bigger screen in the center. Other than that, it does the job really well. It's comfy, the seats are comfy. It's really clean in here. It's just got the nice new features that I don't have, like cruise control and a few more power options and stuff that I was missing in the Patrol. Patrol's great, I love it. It flexes good, it off-roads well, but you don't do that every day. And yeah, the defects and fuel were a big problem, and then when I would tow the caravan, it was extremely slow, even though I'd tuned it and popped up the boost and done all that stuff to it. Just so slow up big hills. EGTs would go through the roof, so I'd always have to back off, and then I'd be even slower, and even the temps would go up. Wouldn't overheat, but would get very close to red, which is apparently normal, but I did cooling upgrades and did heaps of stuff, and it just didn't improve that much. So pushing that car to its limits every time I tow it up a big hill is just making me think, how long will it last? They are very reliable, but I don't want to be doing a big trip like all the way up the east coast and get to the top of Queensland and then, you know, the thing goes bang. That'd be really bad. Where I think this thing being newer might not be as reliable car because we don't know heaps about them yet, but I think I would trust this more, being that I'm not probably pushing it to its limits all the time. It's got more torque and power than the old Patrols, so gonna find out this week. So yeah, like I said, going away for Easter, planning to tow the van with this thing. Yeah, I've got to put a brake controller in it today, so that's today's job because my mate took it off. And I can't actually tow without a brake controller. But other than that, she has a nice note. She has a bit of a turbo whistle. Not loud, but just nice. I'm not going too far in this, just gonna back it down the driveway to get it on some more level ground so I can work on it easier. So that should do there. Like I said, the screen's really small in it. Reverse camera I can see. When it's raining it's a bit hard because water gets on the lens. I'd like a nice big screen here. But much better than the Patrol. Yeah, so it has the turbo noise in the exhaust just because it's a 3-inch straight through. But he's kept the muffler on it, so it keeps it just nice. So yeah, it was a shame because my mate had a brake controller in this for his caravan. He had a UHF in it. He had rear light bars at one point, also a dual battery setup. And yeah, sadly he took it all out and sold it and put some of it in his new car. He did say if he actually knew I was the one going to buy it, he would have just left it all in, which would have been nice because it would save me a whole day's job. So this is the kit I got. towpro Elite, redarc. Comes with a couple basic bits of wiring. This is what my local electrical store has given me. Bundles of wires. The thick ones for an Anderson plug. I need power for the caravan too, so that's sort of later. But 4 colours in the normal kit. 4 colours here, they're just extenders, so that's all for that. Like I said, he had the brake controller in it, so I think where he mounted it inside the car, the holes are still there, so mine should just screw straight in, and pretty much just got to run all the cabling that he had back in it. Got the unit here. My mate's holes are up there that I found. Got some little stainless steel screws which screw straight into his tapped holes, so that'd be pretty easy. I don't have to drill or make a mess, they'll just screw in. That was the easiest mount I've ever done. Holes were there, just found the right screws, man. See if I can show you up in there. You can just see it up in there. I'm glad I didn't have to do those holes. That was a win. Alright, time to work out the wiring. So you can buy like a pre-made harness for the Navara. It's got like a firewall plug in it. It's like all cut and sort of in anaconda tube, so you can run it through the car and it's all at the right lengths. Because it's a custom tray, might have been a bit different, but you could probably shorten it. Other than that, you can buy that, it'll go in your car. I think you've just got to wire the trailer plug at the end, and it makes it quite simple, but they're like $270 for a harness made up. Whereas I went to an electronics store and yeah, got all this for like, I don't know, $60 or something, and they've given me all the connectors and clips that I need because they know the job. And yeah, it like cuts the price down dramatically. So I'll get the instructions out and read that. So these are the instructions. It's all for different setups and 24 volt and stuff like that. I think the easiest one is to do the simple 12 volts. So it's just power cable from the battery to power the unit, and then you have the blue wire going out for the signal for the brakes. You have a red wire to pick up your brake light, so they work, and then you obviously a white for earth, and then it's just your controller. So pretty simple. So this makes it look really complicated, but it's actually not. These are just all extensions just to do the distances. I think I will start with the power wire and fuse off the battery because I'm going to need that. I've never used one of these before. Come on, focus. It's a auto reset circuit breaker. So you draw too much current, it like breaks the load, but then once it cools down it rejoins and it'll try again. So you don't have to keep changing fuses if there's a problem. So if there's a short in the plug or something just simple, it'll trip and you'll go, oh hang on, I got no power. 5 minutes later it cools down, reconnects and tries again. So if you've had time to fix your problem, away you go. Alrighty, so I've just put that auto reset here, screwed it into an existing hole that I also found, which made life easy. And then I've just run the power cable through some anaconda that was already here and then connected it to the battery so that powers the auto reset, and then that pole down the bottom is the going out auxiliary. So I'll go from that through the firewall and feed a power cable to the unit. This is a bit of hate, and I hate running wires through firewalls and under the dash. It's like so tight upside down. Ugh, nightmare. Alrighty, I got a wire. The power that'll come off this breaker goes through the plug in the firewall. That is probably the hardest firewall I've ever had to go through. And I've got all the cable coming through here. So luckily there was already a cable someone had fed, so I could sort of slip it back, sticky tape this to part of it and then pull it back through, and that made the job a lot easier because me poking a screwdriver through and trying to feed it was ridiculous. And now I'll just follow that across that side of the dash and hook it to the power side of the new plug. Alrighty, I know I did this earlier and set this up, but I didn't realise that the red wire, which is usually what I think power is, should be the black one, because this is actually 3mm thick. I need 3mm for power. So it's black from battery to the unit to power it, not red. But it was easy, I just taped it to the red one, pulled it through, so that's in nice and quick. I just got to redo some terminals here and just change this bit to the circuit breaker, and then we're back on the go. So I might do that later actually, but I got the black wire here, which is power to the unit, which is just up in here, so I just got to do the connections for that. Now I'm just running red now for the brake light, blue for power to the brakes, and I'm just feeding it through the side sill. The panels just pop off, and I'm using a bit of solder to help pull it through, because the solder kind of makes its way through nicely. It's actually working quite well. Then I've got to feed it up to here, and then behind the seat there is a plug on the firewall, the rear wall. My mate said you've just got to like unbolt the seat, so this just pulls up on like a hinge, and there's a couple bolts here I'll have to take the back seat out, which is painful. And then I can just feed the wires across the bottom of the tray, and then yeah, it goes to the trailer plug. And then there's like a diode he left in here, which is cable tied to the tow bar there. I haven't pulled it apart, I've got to check it. But that is so when you pick up your brake light and you push the button on the unit and just activate the trailer brakes, it doesn't send 12 volt back through your trailer light harness back to the unit. So this diode stops it from back feeding. So you got to have it. Luckily he left that bit on the car, so that's the only thing he left. I've got to work out how to wire to it. Alrighty, got it through. I could just reach up under this, and the wall plug's just there. And then I fed cables through, so I've just got to run them across the tray now. And like I said, I'll just do it to the trailer plug and maybe this diode. So it's actually another day now. I sort of quickly tidied up the wires underneath. I just cable tied them to the frame, as you'd imagine, and ran it along the back here, and did some connections up here, which is blue and red, which goes into the trailer harness. So luckily, yeah, his wires already were there with the diode in place, so I've just connected to that, and I believe it all works. The only problem I have is the button to control it. I put in a spot in the dash just here because the cord isn't long enough to get it to the center console where I wanted it. So I went to the shop today and bought an extension so I can get it over there now. But getting this back unplugged from the unit is ridiculous, because you flush mount it against the wall and the clip to undo the plug is against the wall, rather than having it this way where you could get to it easily. They make it real difficult and put it this side, and with everything under the dash I can't get my hand in there to push on that pin, so I can't get it out at the moment. It's so frustrating, and as you can see, my hand's getting all cut up and messed up from trying to get it because I don't want to unscrew the unit. I got it with some injury. I ended up backing the screws off in the mounted unit and just pulled it so slightly off the wall and allowed me to get my hand in there and just get on top of that. Painful. Alrighty, I've put the dash back to the way it was, just with the spare buttons I've got. Ran the cable through tidy. It sort of cable ties in here, runs through. I've got to the center console now. Popped out a little spare spot that I want in the console, which is pretty easy. It just like pulls out, and then you just push on some tabs with a screwdriver and they pop out. Tells you to drill a 10mm hole in it, put the bezel on, which is like your pointer, and now I just have to fit the button into it, plug the cable in and pop everything down, and that should be the controller in the center of the dash. All together, nice little bezel to point to 0. So the idea is to wind the little dial back before you put the knob on all the way to the left, and then line your 0 up and it'll go on there, and then you get full range. Sun's right in line with it. Where are we? There. But you can see it's mounted in the middle. I actually did it the right way up with the bezel pointing that way, but I actually turned it around so the bezel's down because I can see it from my position here when it's on 0 or what number it's on, whereas if it was over this side I couldn't really see it. And the redarc almost sort of faces up the right way. I kind of wish it was straight. I don't know why they didn't make that straight with the 0, unless you can take the rubber off and move it, but I doubt it. But it works, so I'll just leave it. It's perfect. Well, I've just backed up to the van and plugged the trailer plug in, and you can see it's blue. It's flashing on this camera, but it's actually blue, and then when I push it, it goes red. So I think it's doing something, calibrating itself. Apparently you've got to drive, and the gyro's got to work out if you're braking and what direction you're going, and then that'll do the proportional braking, where how hard I brake it brakes, or you can like override it by doing something with your foot brake and then holding this button down. But it seems to be working. Yeah, it's more red now the higher I turn it up, so it's obviously getting stronger. I go down to 1, it doesn't really do much. 4, it's like purple. 10, it's red. Happy with that. So yeah, I won't really know if it works until I actually tow the van, but being that it's got a cover on it and all the legs are down, I don't really want to undo it just to take it around the block and test, when I'm gonna do all that in 2 days time when we actually head away in it. So I'll just do it early that morning and hopefully the actual brakes kick in, but I'm pretty confident they will, being that the button sense that there's a load there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. I can do more on the Navara. If you guys are interested, let me know.